It can be difficult to work on yourself if you constantly feel drained by life. This is why I often recommend for people to get rid of things, get out of bad situations as soon as possible, because I just don't see much benefit in staying in a situation that's constantly mentally taxing on you. Sure, you can get growth from them, but usually for most of us, all it ends up doing is being so mentally taxing that it makes it so we can't actually work on our self growth as much. We can't focus on doing that inner work because we feel so drained that we don't have the energy to do it. As we all pretty much know, working on ourselves is not exactly an easy thing. It can be often very mentally taxing because you need to practice certain things that take energy. Like you need to practice self-awareness to notice your thought patterns so you can then address them and reframe them into better patterns. Or you need to be able to know what emotions you're feeling in the moment. Things like that. And they all require mental effort. You have to be able to notice what is happening and then figure out how to deal with it. It's not exactly easy, right? So if our lives are already mentally taxing on us because we're in situations we don't like, that is not good. So do your best to get out of anything that is constantly mentally taxing on you, like a bad job, or maybe a bad environment you live in, or maybe a bad relationship, whatever it may be. If you have something that is consistently detracting from your mental health and taxing you in that way, figure out what you can do to get rid of it. I just wouldn't recommend staying in those bad situations for growth because usually we grow a lot quicker when we're able to get out of them and then get back to focusing on pursuing our inner work. I mean, you can argue in some cases that maybe it is quicker to stay in the bad situations, but take it from my own experience, you will hit a point where you kind of plateau and it's not really helping you out as much anymore. And if not, it may even actually be something that's handicapping your growth going forward because of how mentally taxing it is. So yeah, I just wouldn't really recommend it. If you can get rid of situations or bad things that are mentally taxing you, I would highly suggest you do so because that will allow you to get back to focusing on putting your life in the right direction and of course on continuing to work on yourself, which should be a goal that you have. I mean, hopefully if you're watching my videos then you do take your personal development seriously and it's something you're actively working on because the more you do it every single day, the better your life becomes in the future. And usually all it takes is like a little bit of effort each day, that 1% growth that compounds over time. But yeah, if you're in a bad situation that's mentally taxing, you're not going to have the energy needed to do this. So that's why I recommend get rid of bad situations or get out of them, get rid of bad people, places, and things that are steering you in the wrong direction. This is just super important. If there's one thing I've learned from making these videos, it's that rather often we end up going through similar things at similar times. And lately I've been dealing with this myself. Thankfully things have gotten a bit better, or at least I've been able to work on my mindset to handle things a bit better because my situations haven't really changed from what they were months ago. And some of you have been following me for all you know, I haven't exactly liked my life situation for quite some time. It's still pretty much the case. I've just gotten better at not thinking about it as much and trying to have better thought patterns and whatnot and that sort of thing. But yeah, I basically hit the point where I feel like I am plateauing from whatever growth I can get out of being in this situation I dislike, and it is kind of getting to the point where it's just not great. I need to get out of it if I want my life to be better and if I want to get my personal development back on track. And I know that if I'm feeling this way, there are probably a lot of other people out there feeling the same way. Because often when I make videos on things I'm going through, I get a lot of comments from people going through the exact same thing. So I wanted to talk about this because I just realized it a few weeks ago. I realized, hey, you know what? I want to work on myself, but lately I haven't felt like it as much because I've been so drained from just dealing with the things I dislike that I don't have a lot of energy left over to pursue personal development. And I don't like that. It's not good. Like, it leads to me often spending a lot of my time trying to de-stress and whatnot, like doing time wasting things like playing too many video games and whatnot. And it's just not something I want to do. It's good to de-stress, of course, but like I hit a point where I was going beyond de-stressing. I was doing it more to waste time and avoid dealing with thoughts and feelings that I didn't want to be feeling or dealing with. So, yeah, this is why you should work on getting out of bad situations ASAP. You just don't need to stay in them for any longer than is needed for you to grow a bit from them. And you will hit a point where it could actually be detrimental. It could start negating some of your growth. You could start actually going backwards in your development. So just take it from me. Avoid that entirely. Try to get out of bad situations as soon as possible. Don't buy into your excuses and whatnot. Try to get out of them as soon as you can. It's just usually worth it. It's usually a good call to make, even though you get all these people out there who like to say, oh, stay in a bad situation because you can grow from them and whatnot. Yeah, up to a certain point, but I've just kind of realized maybe it's not quite worth it. And I think it's bad advice to tell people to be masochistic and stay in bad situations just for the growth, because what if they don't end up growing from them, right? Why does nobody ever consider that option? Everybody always acts like we only ever grow from bad things. But what about the cases where we may not? What then? Then it's not actually good at all to stay in the bad situation. So I just like to think about all possible outcomes with these kinds of things. This is why I try to take balanced approaches so often, because I just don't think there's ever black or white solutions for these things. And it's usually dumb logic, in my opinion, when people try to say that we should do certain things or that this route always works and that sort of thing, like saying, oh, you'll always grow from bad situations. Just not convinced that that's always true. So yeah, but anyway, at this point I'm rambling. You pretty much understand my point with this video, that if your life is in such a way that it's constantly draining you mentally, you need to figure out what the heck is causing you to feel that way and try to fix things. Try to get out of those situations. Do whatever you can so that you can start focusing on your inner work again. Because that's what we really want to be doing. We want to be growing a little bit day by day. But there will be times where life just kind of throws things in our path that block us from doing that for a bit. But we can get around that obstacle, or maybe we can go through it even. There's plenty of ways of dealing with them. So it's in our best interest to figure out how to tackle it, get rid of it, and then keep marching forward. But that's all I have for you guys. Truly hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Arrivederci!